For that conversation. It's time now to take a look at stories that are trending now with Olamide Odekunle. Olamide.
Good morning, Veronica. Good morning, Etoma. How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
Very well, thank you. You can take it away now.
Thank you very much. Ramadan Kareem. Good morning, everyone. I like to say that TVC has a finger on the pulse and an eye on the streets. And if it's trending, we are definitely going to be dissecting it on here. In our first story, the ongoing conflict between Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has now drawn their spouses into the fray. Mrs. Ekaette Akpabio, wife of the Senate President, has filed 2 defamation lawsuits against Akpoti-Uduaghan, seeking 350 billion naira in damages for allegedly tarnishing her husband's reputation. Meanwhile, High Chief Emmanuel Orisejolomi Uduaghan, the Alema of Warri Kingdom and the husband of Akpoti-Uduaghan, has publicly defended his wife. He confirmed that she confided in him about her strained interactions with Akpabio and has claimed that he initially sought a peaceful resolution. However, he stated that despite his efforts, his wife continued to experience what she described as harassment from the Senate President. This is very interesting because over the weekend, we saw some Akwa Ibom women come out to protest against Senator Natasha for allegedly disrespecting their son. We also saw an interview with Joy Nunye, the former managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, come out to say that once she herself had to slap the Senate President for allegedly sexually harassing her. We also saw the interview with Senator Ireti Kingibe, who came out to say that she was aware that Natasha was invited to a hotel by the Senate President. And all these various reactions from all these different groups of women are very interesting social discourse, but I'd love to take some social commentary. Echoes says, I believe this issue can be resolved in round-table meetings. Both families should come together. It's too late, it's already on the floor and in the judiciary. Mezier Abia says, the proverbial mother monkey once said that she can't vouch for the baby monkey she's backing because she's always facing her front, hence unsure of what the baby monkey does behind. Senator Akpabio's wife cannot say beyond what she's privileged to know. Only Senator Godswill Akpabio and those who always come up with sexual scandals against him know the truth. And finally, Purple Dove says, it is sweet to see him protecting his wife publicly, Sha. Very interesting to see how this will play out. It's clear that sides are being taken and swords are being drawn. Moving on now, in our next story, gunmen posing as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission operatives have abducted 10 people from White Hill Hotel in Chanchaga local government area, Niger State. Now, this attack, which occurred at 4:58 a.m. sometime late last week, saw the assailants disable CCTV cameras before forcibly taking guests to an unknown location. Of course, this incident has heightened fears over the growing difficulty in distinguishing law enforcement from criminals, as Nigerians are now struggling to tell apart real EFCC officials, bandits, and unknown gunmen. It also, of course, raises serious ethical concerns about late night and pre-dawn raids, which, while legal for security agencies, have increasingly been used as a cover for criminal activity. We did see that an EFCC official was killed earlier this year, and it was very sad. And so I think the EFCC needs to take a strong stance and come out and really tell us what facilitates a raid and what a raid should look like, so we're able to differentiate. But I'm going to take some social commentary now. Mazi says, it doesn't help when they are known to break into houses in the dead of night. It will be easy for criminals to disguise themselves as EFCC operatives. Andy says, gunmen posing as EFCC is EFCC. They should provide those guests. If they have been civil in their operations, people would be able to differentiate between EFCC, armed robbers, and kidnappers. And Nana Eze says, and when we forewarned of the dangers of the Rambo-style EFCC adopts, they were too busy and too intelligent to take the advice. It would be great to see EFCC take a very strong stance in this case, don't you think, Victoria and Etoma?
Yeah, I think they should. One of the problems I see with our organizations is that they don't engage the public, and if you're an investigating body, it gets to a point where you need the public's help. We have not seen a lot of engagement between EFCC and the Nigerian public. That would have gone a long way, because the average Nigerian would have known how to differentiate the real EFCC man and the fake one.
Interesting. First of all, I like the fact that Olamide rechristened me from Veronica to Victoria.
I'm sorry.
But on this matter, I think that it's quite worrisome, EFCC now. I think that they need to rethink their operations such that they can be able to differentiate, or Nigerians can be able to differentiate between who is and who isn't. And so they now need to sit down and critically think through, because there's been so much issues surrounding their operations and their personnel as it is, and it will be terrible if this is not resolved as quickly as possible, because their reputation is on the line, and they play a critical role when we're talking about addressing matters of corruption and any other attendant issues that they handle. Now let me move over to the matter between Natasha Uduaghan and the Senate President.
Senator Natasha.
And both, whichever way you want to look at it right now. It's interesting to see the dimension that this is now taking, where the spouses of both persons involved are now speaking. But my concern is that this issue is now drifting from the role they are meant to play, which has to do with ensuring that they speak for their constituents on the floor of the Senate. These are personal issues that are now beclouding the real issues for why they were elected into those positions. It will be good to see how the judiciary handles this matter. But their wives or their spouses joining in, of course, the Alema of Warri Kingdom just made a statement. He is not instituting a suit against the Senate President, because he says that he's also still maintaining the friendship he has with the Senate President despite all of these issues. But we're seeing the Senate President's wife instituting a suit, but there are those who have questioned that move by her, because she's not joined in this matter. It is her husband that is of major concern now to Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. And so we're going to see how the law will be able to interpret her coming in and instituting a suit against the husband, and what that will be at the end of the day. But I just hope that this matter is resolved in such a way that the constituents at the end of the day do not suffer for what is not really affecting them in this case.
Well, the constituents are already suffering. We've had almost like 1 week or more of concentrating on this issue, while there are some serious issues that need urgent attention of the Senate. You know, let's treat this issue, my suggestion, let's treat this issue as personal, and then the Senate can go ahead and do
by personal, do you mean that it should be taken away from the courts, or how do you mean?
No, I'm talking about the way it has occupied the time, the attention of not just Nigerians, the politicians themselves, the senators, members of the House of Representatives, and all that, everybody that's gotten into the fray. You know, it's clearly a personal thing. Let's handle it that way, while the Senate moves on with its duties.
And some legal practitioners are also saying that her allegations have come prematurely, that the smart legal thing to do in this case was to establish some sort of evidence against the Senate President. I'm talking about tangible evidence, not just I told my husband. And so some people are saying that that is not tangible enough, and she should have set a proper precedent of evidence, and this claim would be more judicially proper, as it were. What do you guys think about that?
She's a lawyer, so she should have known what to do in the first instance. But I think that she says she has some level of evidence. And so I'm hoping that she'll be able to thrash this issue with the evidence that she has documented, if she really has them. Because there were some things she mentioned at the beginning, and some had said that this is not a strong enough argument to make in court if you are seeking for justice at the end of the day. So I think that as a lawyer, she should have known what to do from the beginning.
Seems to be a battle of the spouses. Thank you both so much for your input. Moving on now, in our next story, I've got some good news for you guys. A Nigerian man, Jonathan Biodun, who was incarcerated over a 1.1 million naira debt, has regained his freedom after compassionate individuals banded and rallied together to clear his debt. Now, in a heartfelt video shared on X by the Ray of Hope Prison Outreach on Friday, Jonathan expressed his gratitude to everyone who contributed to his release. Take a look.
My name is Thomas Jonathan Biodun. I have just been released from Apapa Kirikiri Correctional Center. I'm using this medium, this opportunity to give a vote of thanks to everyone that has donated in one way or the other, any form of contribution each and every one of you has made. I am so grateful. You have no idea what this freedom meant to me. Honestly, from the depth of my heart, I am saying a very, very big thank you to you all. Thank you very much. My wife, even my son that's a baby is grateful. Thank you, and I pray for you all. Whatever your heart desires might be, God will meet you at the point of your need. Thank you very much. I am really grateful.
Now, his case came to light when a group of Twitter or X influencers visited the correctional facility for a friendly football match with the inmates. During this said visit, one of the prisoners discreetly handed a letter to an influencer who later shared it on social media, as you can see. And this sparked widespread attention and calls for help. A public donation campaign was launched, and within just weeks, enough funds were raised to settle Jonathan's debt, and he was finally released from Apapa Kirikiri Correctional Center. Now, I will say that crowdfunding is an amazing tool to be used to help the community, and cases like this really show the power of the collective and the strength in community. However, unfortunately, issues like this, where Nigerians have to crowdfund and intervene in matters like this, really unfortunately highlight the lapses in government institutions that should ideally be doing this work. But we're going to take some social media tweets. Congratulations to you, Biodun. You're a free man. Nonso says, which law in Nigeria requires a prison sentence for debt owed? If it's a contractual agreement, that could perhaps be the case. Texas says, that is a lot of money. Hopefully he has learned some basic money management skills while incarcerated. Nonetheless, I'm glad that he has regained his freedom. But Oga, don't do the same thing you did again, no. And finally, Yaya says, what did he use the money for? How did he find himself in a 1.1 million naira debt? These are the questions we need to ask before we rally to pay someone's debt. I take it Yaya did not contribute to Biodun's release. Moving on, in our final story, Prophet Ebuka Obi of Zion Prayer Movement Outreach is facing fresh controversy after a viral video exposed an allegedly staged testimony.
So you are the one that is lying on the altar of God, that you bought house. You are the one. You went to Zion. Jesus.
Yeah, they are running. Nende go be fake people. Nende go be
Regional. The only day he said to me about that my name will be on the media was on 4th of last month. Go and watch the program in evening. I said it, that media will be checking, that it will be as if it's real, but it's fake. We're going to trace the guy. So this is for Zion people, not for those that are paying some bloggers. I heard the man, the clergyman over there, that's in the east there and here, that sponsored the blogger. What are you doing, blogger? Did I know her? Did any member know her?
Now, the woman who claimed in his church to have bought a 500 million naira mansion later admitted that it was scripted to deceive members into, quote, sowing seeds. This is following past allegations against Pastor Ebuka, including a 2023 staged miracle involving the late actor John Okafor, aka Mr. Ibu, who Obi also falsely claimed to have healed. And he had a lot to say about the allegations, as you saw. With these repeated scandals, concerns are, of course, growing over deceptive practices in religious spaces, as well as religious leaders who manipulate trust and highlight the need for greater accountability in faith-based organizations. Would you like to chime in on our conversation? Do you have an interesting perspective you'd like to share? Please tag us with the hashtag TrendingNowTVC on any social media platform. I promise that we are listening. This Pastor Ebuka story is particularly interesting and particularly frightening because he has access to thousands of people, Veronica and Etoma, who are sowing seeds from their salaries, who are taking money from their children's school fees to sow seeds in his church. And if he's indeed selling fake miracles, he's selling hope, and he's peddling a false hope to these people, don't you think?
Well, Karl Marx says that religion is the opium of the society. So when it comes to things that, this kind of stories, I like to keep my distance because you will answer to the Almighty if push comes to shove. Several times we hear rumors like this come, and later we hear the actors, the people involved saying, sorry, it was fake, I didn't say something like that, and so on.
So he has now pushed the blame to the woman, saying that it has nothing to do with his church, it wasn't state managed, but that whatever she did is a sin against God and the altar. So it's not him, it has nothing to do with him and all of it. But like Etoma rightly said, we all have an answer to give when we return to our Maker. But unfortunately, time is not our friend. This is how we have to wrap things up on the program for today. Thank you, Olamide, for bringing us those stories on Trending Now. Well, this is where we draw the curtains. Let's let you know that the views and reactions of all our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Up next is Your View with the ladies, and afterwards is This Morning with Yori Folari. Do stay safe. Bye.